Hey, what is up YouTube? thyAshes here, bringing you another video, and today I'm using my DSLR camera. I have it set up on a tripod. Hopefully the audio is good, hopefully the picture is good, but I want to kind of try this out for a little bit of a better quality of these videos rather than using my webcam, which is what I normally do. So today we're going to talk about 2.1 and my thoughts on competitive 2.1. For those of you who don't know, it is the current beta competitive playlist that is taking place in Gears of War, successor to 2.0, and some interesting changes have been made in this patch. So the main change that was announced and talked about was the change to the movement, and the basic idea is that, and execution, I guess, and that's how we're going to break it down later in the video. But what happens is in 2.1, as you slide to a wall, there's obviously the cancel slide move. It's called air canceling in the community. So you can air cancel this, what would normally be you sliding and taking cover on a wall. So by canceling it, you can previously spam back and forth between walls as quickly as you could turn your camera and cancel your movement, so you would have this very erratic but very fast-paced wall bounce even though you're not touching any walls. So what they wanted to do is to basically eliminate that and make multiple styles of play possible. So they added this short and long distance cover distance. So everybody knows that there's a distance that you can either slide to a cover or you just then misroll at the cover because you're not within that activation distance. So they changed the distance. If you air cancel, the distance gets changed, and you now have to be closer to the wall in order to successfully slide to it, unless you actually hit a wall, in which case the cooldown resets. Now I'm going to break this down into idea and execution, because I feel like those are the two important parts of this, and I feel like a lot of people in the community don't understand both of those aspects of this whole change. So the idea is that right now Gears of War, in terms of high-level competitive play, is extremely fast-paced. It's safe to say a majority of players play on all 30 sensitivities, so the highest possible sensitivities, and a majority of fights are very chaotic and quick, with a lot of air canceling and wall bouncing and just spamming of that mechanism, that technique. Now, in previous Gears of Wars, especially Gears of War 1 and Gears of War 2, there was a kind of balance between being able to strafe back and forth, which is just moving your joystick back and forth and controlling your character and choosing your shots in there, and then the wall bounce that we all know. In Gears of War 3, that kind of turned way more into just the wall bounce, and in Gears of War 4, we're seeing that as well. The wall bounce is staying dominant because of that air cancel. And these higher sensitivities are allowing people to do it extremely quickly. Now, a problem with that is, one, it doesn't take as much skill to wall bounce back and forth. And the reason I say that is the skill of strafing and the skill of wall bouncing are both techniques that can be used. They're both mechanisms. They're both tools that should be used and utilized. It does take skill in that regard. What doesn't take skill is the decision making in wall bouncing, the being able to panic and mash the A button and making yourself harder to hit. It's almost become a secondary response or muscle memory for a lot of players. That's not really a skill gap anymore, in my opinion, and you can't see the decision making because there, in a lot of cases, a lack of decision making going into those kind of plays. So what Coalition wants to do is to make the game more dynamic, to slow down that kind of action a little bit so that casters and spectators, especially those who are new to Gears of War, can see the outplays, can see the decisions being made within the movement of the players, and allow everybody to be able to recognize what's good plays, what are outplays, what are bad plays, like all of those things while spectating the match, even if you're not as familiar with Gears of War as a lot of us are. Now, the execution that they decided to go with is this new short-range, long-range cover distances, and the requirement to know to change between them and what those two ranges are, and so forth. Now, it's my belief that the idea of expanding the way that the game can play and allowing for multiple avenues, you got your strafe, you got your wall bounce, you can have multiple ways you can play the game correctly, whereas right now it's not really that way. I like that idea. I like the idea of slowing it down a little bit and attracting new people to be able to watch and understand and recognize what are good plays and what are bad plays. I think the execution changes the game a little bit too much for most people's comfort. I think that the current execution of the movement probably isn't the most viable execution of it. I think having two different ranges is unnecessary. I feel like finding a middle ground, and I think this is the same thing that they did with the weapon tuning. In my personal opinion, I think that rather than having two dramatic differences, find a happy medium. We've already seen that happen with the weapon tuning, and a lot of people are upset with it, and now we're doing it also with the cover distance, having a long range and a short range. Let's find a happy medium. I think that finding that happy medium will help contribute to the idea that you're going for. Don't keep dividing it up when we can't find the solution. Keep working to find the solution. So thumbs up for the idea of slowing the game down a little bit, making it more recognizable, making outplays mean more, and making there be more strategy involved in the movement and the decision making of the movement. And thumbs down. So thumbs up for that, thumbs down for the execution of dividing the cover distance into two ranges. Now my other gripe with this whole 2.1 is I don't know if there's been server issues recently. I don't know if they secretly or unintentionally changed the shotgun, but the shotgun has been extremely inconsistent in my gameplay. I've played probably 15, 20 matches on 2.1 beta, and I can't explain what is happening with the shotgun. On top of that, I feel like now L triggers are not working as well as they used to, in 2.0 at least, and blind fires are working even better than they were before, which we do know that there was a difference between hip fires and L triggers. You can see that in some of my previous videos. So maybe something got tweaked there unintentionally, and I haven't gotten a chance to test it. I hope to do that at a later time. But right now, as of right now, this is my opinion. I think the shotgun is being weird and inconsistent, and that could either be because something got changed, whether they know about it or not, or the servers affected it. I think that, like I said, the idea is great about the movement. Execution is poor, or not poor, just not correct. They tried something. I don't think it works, so it's time to try the next thing. But overall, we have to commend them for the effort that they're putting into making the game more viable for competitive and esports and just a better game to play. This is where I'm going to offer a solution, and I think a lot of pro players will agree with this. I think that there's a number of ways that you can add strafing as a viable option. I think that a lot of people in the pro community are talking about changing the sensitivities and lowering those so that you can't turn your camera as fast, which means you can't wall bounce as fast. So lowering the range to a medium, not the current like super distance that we can take cover on, but lowering a little bit, but it's still a little bit more than the short distance in this 2.1. So we got a happy medium there. You lower the sensitivities so that, because right now we're playing on the highest sensitivities of almost any Gears of War. So lower that sensitivities. You can't spam your camera back and forth as quickly, which means you can't wall bounce as quickly, which means that slows down a little bit inherently. And then you've got a slower paced, more decision-oriented movement style. The other option, and probably secondary to the first one because this one isn't quite as good, is just increasing the movement speed, the walking speed of the characters, which will allow you to move back and forth, strafe quicker. The issue with that is it causes a lot of different issues in terms of timing, respawn, when you respawn your spawn protection and other timings like that. So you've got a lot more dynamics that go into that when you increase something like walking speed, as well as the whole campaign and whatnot. So overall, 2.1, I don't really enjoy playing the 2.1 beta playlist simply because of the inconsistencies that I'm finding with the shotgun. I don't really care as much about the movement because I misroll a lot anyways, but to those who are playing it competitively and when it's scrimmed, I can definitely see the issues that people are having with that. So this is my honest opinion, criticism, and feedback with a possible solution. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, not only of 2.1, but also what you think about the different aspects that I pointed out. And on a side note, let me know what you think about me recording these on this camera. Do you like that, dislike that compared to the traditional webcam setup with the big old, with this thing in my face? So let me know what you think about that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you leave a thumbs up. I hope you liked the video. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate the support, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.
Go.